Hello everyone, it's Stephanie. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing tips on how you can shoot B-roll footage on your phone. Everyone has their phones in their hands at all times. So if you're trying to make videos for YouTube, social media, or just for your personal projects, B-roll shots give your videos more dimension and it just overall gives your video a more visually appealing look. So this works for any kind of video that you're trying to do, whether it's cooking video, travel videos, beauty tutorials, no matter what it is, these tips will help your B-roll footage look better. Before we get started, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and just keep watching. So for starters, I will be using my iPhone 7 for the B-roll footage of this video. The talking portion of this video will be shot on my DSLR, but everything that is included for B-roll will be on my iPhone 7. So I know that my iPhone 7 is a bit old compared to the newer models that are out now. I definitely want to get my hands and upgrade to the new iPhone, but for now, this is what I have. And this is just to show you, it doesn't matter what kind of phone that you have, if it's old or new. If you have a Samsung, a Pixel, or whatever it is that you have, as long as you have video function, you are good to go. Before we get started, I also wanted to mention that if you are new to this whole video content creation thing, it's okay not to have the latest and the most expensive equipment. If you're just starting out, I definitely recommend to use what you have. You don't want to be those people who just jump into buying the most expensive equipment and then a few weeks later they're not into it anymore and they just wasted a lot of money. And the more experience that you gain with what you have, then you can go and invest in those more expensive equipment items. Everyone starts somewhere and everyone's first videos aren't the best, so don't let that discourage you. Now that we have that out the way, let's get into the tips. Before you start shooting anything on your phone, you should definitely go into your phone settings and see if you can change anything in your video settings. I personally didn't know that you could actually do this until maybe 1 or 2 years ago that I found that you can actually change your video settings. Many people who don't know this just use your phone without changing any settings. On my iPhone, these are the video settings that are available. Once you hit settings, you're going to scroll down all the way until you see camera, and then you're going to click on record video. This is where you're going to find all the settings that your phone has. So you have 720p at 30 frames per second, 1080p at 30 frames per second, 1080p at 60 frames per second, and 4K at 30 frames per second. You're also able to change the settings for your slow motion video. So if you hit on record slow-mo, this is where you can see the different settings for that as well. For the sake of this video, all my B-roll footage will be shot on 1080p on 30 frames per second, just because I don't have much storage on my phone right now. I literally always run out of storage, and if you are going to be shooting in 4K, just keep that in mind that it will be taking up much more space on your phone. Before hitting record, please don't forget to wipe the back of your camera. I usually shoot on the back of my camera if I am going to be using my phone, just because I feel like on my iPhone 7 the back camera is definitely more clear than the front facing camera. We are always touching our phones and putting our phones on different surfaces, so our phone cameras aren't always the clearest. So before you shoot anything, I always recommend getting a napkin, using your shirt just to wipe off the lens. If you don't wipe off your lens before shooting, it can be blurry like this. If you wipe your lens with a napkin or your shirt, your video footage comes out clearer like this. If you're going to be making videos for YouTube, I highly recommend shooting all your video footage horizontally. Do not shoot vertically because YouTube favors horizontal videos. I personally don't watch YouTube videos that shoot all of their footage vertically. It's just not appealing to me, honestly. If you're going to be shooting video for Instagram or other social media, vertical videos do work better there, but for YouTube videos specifically, always shoot horizontally. So now that we have those basic things out the way, this is where I recommend using all your video settings to your full advantage. So on my iPhone 7, I have 3 video features, and the first one is just shooting normal video footage. The second is slow motion footage. And the third one is time-lapse footage. But if your phone has more advanced video settings, I highly recommend to use those as well. Adding these different video settings to your B-roll footage or in your videos in general just gives your videos more dimension and takes your footage to another level. So when you are shooting your B-roll footage, don't shoot everything at eye level. I think if you incorporate different perspectives, it gives your video more edge and it just brings something different to the table as opposed to just shooting everything at eye level. So I like to shoot things maybe at ground level, framing shots in a unique way, adding certain movements, and doing this, it just brings your footage more alive. So no matter what kind of video you are filming, keeping in mind your B-roll footage is really important. So it doesn't matter if you're going to be doing a music video, a cooking video, a beauty tutorial, travel videos, whatever it is. Just think of the story that you are trying to tell through your video and think of a way how you can portray that into your footage. So I'm personally a visual learner, a visual person, and I kind of have an idea of what I want my B-roll footage to look like in my head before I actually shoot it. If you're not this type of person, I definitely recommend getting a piece of paper or going into your phone's notes and writing the type of footage that you want to capture. You can get overwhelmed if you don't know what to shoot, so writing everything down and the ideas that you have, it just makes everything easier and you know what you want to shoot without forgetting something. And also I think it's really important to shoot more things because it's easier to cut things out if you have more things to select from as opposed to having just a few clips and not having anything else to work with. So for instance, an example would be if you're doing a cooking video, I definitely recommend getting different angles and shots of the food, the ingredients, maybe doing some shots of you seasoning the food, also getting shots of you chopping the ingredients, then putting it onto the stove or in the oven or on the grill. And just adding those small detail shots to your video will make your B-roll footage pop, especially if you're doing a cooking video. All those steps look good when you are shooting B-roll as opposed to just talking about it or just putting a list on the screen. Showing those steps brings the viewer in and it makes it more appealing to show the process of what you're doing in your video. So there are many phone accessories that you can add to your camera lens to make your videos pop as well. There are many phone accessories on the market. You can add a clip-on lens over your phone to get any macro shots, any wide angle shots. I think that also gives your footage a little bit more dimension. Or you can also buy a waterproof case so you can do some shooting in the pool, at the beach, doing some snorkeling. That also gives some dimension to your footage as well. If you're going to be doing more sit-down talking videos with your phone, you can also buy an audio attachment just to make your audio sound a little bit better. If you want more smooth cinematic footage with your iPhone, I highly recommend getting a iPhone stabilizer. And I bought one a few years ago on Amazon and it's called the Xenyun Smooth Q stabilizer. They do have newer models out now, but this is what it looks like, and you just put your phone on it and it just makes your footage look super smooth. So I highly recommend that as well. And there's also lots of lighting options for your phone that you can use to make your lighting situation a bit better when you are shooting with your phone. I will have all the links to these accessories that I mentioned in this video in the description box down below. So everything comes together in the editing process. This is not an editing video, so I'm not going to go into all the details of that, but editing is very subjective. My editing style may not be your editing style and vice versa. Everyone has their own style when it comes to editing and the vision they have for their video. From the text to the transitions to the color grading to the music that you use, everything comes together in a unique way depending on how you see it. If you don't have an editing style yet, you can get inspiration from other people that you admire or videos that you like, but always keep in mind that the more unique your editing style is, it just sets you apart from the other people that are out there. Hope you guys thought this video was helpful, and I just wanted to share the message that you don't need the most expensive equipment to get started. As long as you work with what you have and fine-tune your skills, don't let not having the latest camera equipment stop you from creating content, because if you have a phone, you have no excuses to get started. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and stay tuned for my next video. Ciao!